I was so quiet in the Jacksons group, but I have a lot to say in my older age.
Why were you so quiet in those days?
Well, I have four other people trying to talk.
So you just sat back and let them do the talking.
Yeah, they jump in and answer the questions before I can open my mouth. So that's the way it went.
So it's your turn now, Tito, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I love the fact that you've come back to your blues roots.
Thank you.
T- tell me how that's come about.
Well, I've always said to myself that I'm going to do a blues record someday. Uh, but then my first record was Tito time, and it was more of in the pop R&B type of range, or genre, I should say.
Uh-huh.
Said my next album's going to be blues, but make a long story short, I'll tell you a quick story from my roots of the blues. And my father and my uncle used to play a lot of blues. And that's when I was first took interest in the guitar. And my family played all blues all the time. So I started playing a little guitar, blues licks that I watch, stare at them and stick my father's guitar out when he was at work. And then the Jacksons were doing blues in their show. And we were doing Bobby some Blobby Bland stuff, BB King stuff, Jimmy Reed, Hideaway, and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and then after Jackson 5 was born to the public, and when Motown got a hold to us, blues was forgotten. You know, only time I got to play blues or play some kind of whatever was if Michael or Jackie split their pants and I played a little blues guitar thing.
Uh-huh.
But it's always been in my heart, something I always loved and cared for because it's one of the musics that my family grew up on as far as the brothers. So, we do the blues thing in the show, like I had said. Uh,
Yeah.
but then I got married after school. Then had kids when the brothers were putting out solo records and all that. So I wasn't putting out any albums, and that's what I did. And some people say I missed the boat, but I don't think my life is bigger than the boat. I have a responsibility as a human to, be there for my children.
I think
You
that's
know,
very
so
admirable.
so pretty much what the story says is true. What the story says is true. I raised them. They got into the music business. I worked with them on it a little bit, and then did some demos on them. Got them lessons, and they became 3T. And I was managing them at that period of time. And then I think the brothers, because the Jackson brothers had done the Victory Tour, and we didn't have nothing else musically happening. Uh, but then I decided I wanted to do a record, because there were comments being made saying half of the fans saying, "Will Tito ever do a blues record?" Another half saying, "I don't think so." So I
It
had
pushed
to
you
make,
into it.
yeah, yeah. So with that and other comments, pushed me into it.
That's
But I
great.
wanted, then I said to myself, instead of that first record is not a blues record, and I had said something. I wanted to do something for the Jackson fan base, which is more pop R&B stuff.
Yeah.
So that's why I did that first record. I said my next record is going to be a blues record. So here it is. It's something I was destined to do, because it's always been in my heart. Uh, a lot of people don't know that I I was so shy that I didn't want to go on stage by myself.
Really?
I had to work myself into being in front of people, never alone just being in front of them, singing to and carrying the whole show by myself. To that turned into that I'm going back to the year of 2000, and that turned into me start doing shows worldwide by 2000. I say 5 or 6, somewhere in that range.
So how did you get
And
over the shyness? How did you beat that?
okay, that's a long story. Okay, the Jacksons had taken a break for the first time in their career after the Victory Tour, and we were not doing too much, musically as a group. And me being a musician, I was dying to get on stage or play my guitar somewhere out or whatever. And so what I did, to get professional guys, you got to pay those guys to come play with you.
Uh-huh.
So what I did is I had musician friends in my area that played, little club bands and things like that on the weekend, that kind of thing. So I formed a little. These guys drank beer and all that kind of stuff. They were motorcycle musicians, all type of things, and I named it the Beerbelly Blues Band. So it was all these.
I love it.
Yeah, Tito and the Beerbelly Blues Band, and we did a lot of shows. But what happened is one of the members had a club, and in that club they had because this is Oxnard, California. They have fields, vegetable fields, and lettuce and corn. And these guys, they're the ones that take care of these fields and pick the vegetables. They come to this little beer joint that one of the members own, and they drink beer and play pool and speak Spanish.
Huh?
So they don't even speak English. They
Oh,
don't. They rather have mariachi music, I think.
yeah,
You
I can
know that.
imagine.
So, but I was able to use my friend's club to rehearse, and by rehearsing, because these guys wasn't paying no attention to what we were doing music, because it
Yeah.
wasn't their kind of music.
So you got your confidence up there.
They were basically from Mexico,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I was able to build my confidence, and it went from there. I started playing a few things for churches, and I played a few weddings, and
Wow.
then I played a little festival, and I just grew out of the whole shy thing. I went on
So
the small U.S. tour.
that's amazing. So you're telling me all those years that we saw you on the stage with the Jackson Five, you were nervous as hell inside.
all the time.
Really? And were you the only one of the brothers that was nervous?
Now I think everyone gets nervous before a show. The
But you,
butterflies go. But
yeah,
you
but
get
during?
I was getting nervous when I had parts to do. Not throughout the whole show, but like if it's my turn to play a solo or sing a certain background part or something like that, or a certain note that is probably out of my range, but I still have to make it work.
And
You
did
get a
you
little
did you
bit.
cover that up from your brothers, or did they know how you felt?
Oh, they knew I was like shy. They knew I was.
So did they encourage you?
Not really.
They were too busy doing their own thing.
Exactly. That's just the way he is. But I was just like that. I don't know if you call it being smart or whatever. But in interviews, when the interviewer would ask the brothers a question, I wouldn't say anything because I know one of them are going to answer it and quick.
Who had the biggest mouth? Who got in first?
I would say Jermaine.
Uh-huh.
Jermaine gets right in there. Yeah, yeah.
But Tito, you were brought up on music, and you said that your father was right into music, but your parents didn't encourage you to go ahead with a musical career, did they? In fact, that's not what he wanted for his kids at all.
No, 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 that's not true. What had happened, he didn't want me to play his guitar. So
Oh,
I don't know if that was so much him not wanting a little kid to mess with it. Instrument that was expensive for him at that time, and I was just real young little boy.
but when you all started singing together, and he wanted to hear what you were doing, he wanted to discourage you from forming a group, didn't he?
What happened? We used to make noise in the bedroom, singing, trying to sing it probably wasn't too pleasant, but it grew. And one day he told us to be kept quiet in there making all the noise. And it was my mother who said, Joe, I think you really ought to listen to them. I think that they might have something. He said, Kate, them boys ain't got nothing. They can't sing. And she said, no, seriously, I think you need to listen. And so he auditioned us, told us basically sing something or whatever. And his mouth flew up. He got an idea, and then his next paycheck, he went out on loan and bought all kind of microphones and PAs and practiced us and put us on a schedule. Help build a group.
So he realized you indeed did have something.
Yes, yes. He
Yeah.
wasn't so much. He was just telling us he wanted to get his rest because he had to go to work, the next day or whatever. He was
That
tired.
makes sense.
Yeah,
And as parents, we all know about that, don't we?
absolutely.
Yeah. So you grew up and you took the world by absolute storm as the Jackson Five, and of course then Michael went out solo and tragically came to an end. Just before I move on to your new album, all those rumors about Michael, I mean, you were one of the closest people to him. You don't agree with any of that, do you?
Absolutely not. Not at all. I think it's all a money hunt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it was just about business and money that people wanted to get that made them speak out against him like that and ruin his reputation.
It was all about greed and money because Michael wasn't just around kids, he was around rich kids who had money as well. And
Yeah.
you never heard anything from somebody that had the money. All the people that try to accuse him either owed him money or didn't have or wanted to extort money from him. That is a money hunt, as
Right.
far as I'm concerned.
And why did the family keep quiet about all of that? Was there no, um, was there nothing you could achieve by all speaking out in his defense?
I don't know what you mean by keep quiet.
Well, I mean, we didn't hear too much come out from the family at that time.
No, it's always been a lot of comments made from the family to the media over here, especially here in
Oh, okay.
America. Oh, yes. And my son absolutely went on a whole campaign on this. My oldest son, and he's still in defense, speak on radio shows and other TV shows in
Oh.
Michael's defense.
So, Tito, this new album that you have, it's called Under Your Spell, and it certainly um, comes from the blues, the heart and soul of America. But you've got some incredible guest artists that you've asked to join you on this. Tell us about them.
Well, it was a great time to get in touch with a lot of the friends I had, and we talked about doing something in the future. So, I knew they weren't in concert working or whatever, out and about or shooting TV or whatever because of the pandemic, quarantine.
Yeah.
So, a great time to get in touch with them and ask them participate. And no one really said no, and got some great participation from George Benson and Eddie Lavert and Stevie Wonder and my brother, Bobby Rush, Kenny Neal, just a lot of different artists. And we put together this album.
And did everybody do it remotely, obviously, because of the pandemic?
Well, no, because we had done some music prior to the lockdown and all of that whole thing,
Uh-huh.
especially the George Benson track with B.B. King Band. That was recorded in Scottsdale, basically. But some of the other things were recorded. I have a friend by the name of Kenny Neal, who's American Blues Guy, is his title. That's been his family. It's a blues family. Matter of fact, they call them the Jackson family of blues because they have the same amount of kids. And they have records, but blues hits, I should say. So brothers and friends of his got together and laid my tracks, So
Oh,
that, that
that's very cool.
and when I did the vocals, they were basically just files like I sent individual.
What a great project.
It took me a little while because I had a few things that I had to schedule with a project that the family was doing, and so
That's very cool. Under Your Spell, it's called, and that's the single from it. Is that your favorite track?
no, it's hard for me to push one single because they all have their uniqueness to it. I feel.
All those years that you were rehearsing in your bedroom and your dad had you out, and he worked you pretty hard, didn't he, in the lead up to getting you as professional as he could?
Well, he was smart. We didn't understand it being kids and knowing our friends are outside playing and having a good time, and we can't go out because we have to learn this song or we have a show tonight, so we need to rehearse for that. We didn't understand that. That's quite as important as it is today. And when I look back on it all, I say to myself, my father understood life. He used to say, your childhood is only maybe 10 years where you can really remember it and have fun. And then the rest of your life, you're an adult and you have to be a man and take care of yourself. So he prepared his son with what he felt would be a good situation for them. And that was become entertainers and singers.
Yeah.
He used the little bit of talent he saw in his kids and developed it.
Yeah. And that often meant you having sleeping in the car and grabbing naps or going to bed late at night and trying to get up for school the next morning. He drove you pretty hard, but for good reason.
Oh, he drove us hard, and a lot of people they concentrate on the heights of Michael or the Jackson Five or the Jacksons, but my father, the way he put the group together when he after he got involved is what made the Jackson Five thrive.
Yeah. You said that your own kids have formed a band. Do you drive them as hard?
Oh no, not at all. They were. I didn't have to because after they saw their uncles and their dad and all the people and all, that's what drove them. They wanted to be like us.
And are they good?
They're great. They sold 3 million records worldwide.
Ah,
They had a band by the name of 3T.
awesome. They had or still have. They've abandoned that now.
No, they're still together.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's
they
cool.
they they work a lot overseas, France and Holland.
Uh-huh.
And
So
other,
what is it with your family that music just runs through your veins?
I think it's in the DNA because I got nieces and nephews that have wonderful voice and talent. parents have a wonderful voice and talent. Everybody's just doing well with this.
Yeah, how awesome. You got to be very proud of your whole family, Tito, and obviously very proud of yourself too for coming out of your shell, for putting this new fabulous album together, and for, I guess, what you're also trying to do is bring the blues to a whole new generation, which is so important to keep it alive.
Absolutely, blues deserves that. You know, it's one of the music that started the rock, the pop, and the R&B, and all the different formats of music. But blues deserve that break, and I think it's one of the few musics that haven't been transformed in different styles. And sometimes music, you look in the R&B, it's changed over the amount of years. You know,
Yeah,
it's been long. But blues was always been traditional, and just mixing an Eddie Levert to do a blues tune, and stuff like that is what would get it there.
yeah. Well, can't wait to hear the whole album. Tito Jackson, thank you so much for chatting with us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you for your time. Bye now.